Hello viewers, it's Josie. Welcome back to Eclectic Movie Reviews. As you see, I am in my new apartment, and today is the last day of July. I've been living here for a month now. As you've seen, I haven't been posting as many poetry videos because I'm mainly writing them in written form and then putting like slideshows on TikTok. But you'll see me do more movie reviews and movie related content, especially with Emmy season, festivals, and award season coming this fall, in addition to 2022 first time watches. But today I'm going to talk about my July release roundup, the July releases I saw. I'm going to be reviewing those. Let's start off with Where the Crawdads Sing. So Where the Crawdads Sing is the film adaptation of the amazing best-selling novel of the same title. The story revolves around a girl named Catherine, Kaya Clark, played wonderfully by Daisy Edgar Jones, who is on trial for being accused of murdering Chase Andrews. Kaya was born into an extremely abusive environment. Her father was an alcoholic. As a result of the trauma, her mother left. Then Kaya flees from her father and lives life on her own on the marsh. Her main friend is a boy named Tate Clark, played by Taylor John Smith. Their friendship blossoms into romance when he leaves for college. She gets involved with the handsome but cruel Chase Andrews, played by Harris Dickinson. Delia Owens, the author of the novel, was a zoologist, so there's surprisingly quite a bit of scientific jargon in the book. If you will, through the beautiful nature descriptions. Not only is there science with the nature imagery, but also the descriptions of the characters' behaviors. Delia Owens said part of what gave her the idea for the novel was her observations of animal behavior and the similarities she noticed between that of humans. The novel is a brilliantly moving coming-of-age romance that I would teach if I were a teacher. The movie was panned by critics, but has a really high audience score. Although I consider, this may sound pretentious, but although I consider myself to have astute film tastes, I do side a little more with the audiences on this one. I get why critics have slammed this. It's not critic fair, if you will. It's more marketed towards moms and daughters. Plot-wise, the movie's very faithful to the book, despite switching some things around structurally. Kaya's trial takes place on and off throughout the movie, whereas in the novel, it begins about 3/4 in. It does leave out a certain detail from the book that blew my mind while reading, and it would have been nice if they kept that detail in. Daisy Edgar Jones, I thought, captured the mannerisms of Kaya that I envisioned while reading the novel. Quiet and reserved, while also adventurous. My second favorite performance in the film was David Strathairn as the lawyer. He's just always been a fabulous character actor. I like Taylor John Smith as Tate. He was good in Sharp Objects, and I hope his career rises more from here. He and Daisy Edgar Jones both embody the mix of cute childhood and steamy romantic chemistry off the pages of the book. I'm just gonna double check the audience score because I know that the critic score was like a 30-something for Where the Crawdads Sing. Okay, Where the Crawdads Sing audience score. Okay, critic score 34, audience score 96, and yeah, I'd say I I do think that the critics were too harsh on this movie. I admit there are scenes of the movie where the dialogue is pretty cheesy. I think there is a way you could have made this movie without it being cheesy. Perhaps 20 to 30 years down the line, we'll get another film or TV adaptation. Overall, I still really enjoy Where the Crawdads Sing movie for what it is. It's not perfect, but I very much defend it. Put it this way. I consider it a solid, fun, very entertaining version of a Lifetime original movie. And I overall, it is a recommendation from me. Especially those who've read the book and loved it. And even if you haven't read the book and just like sappy Hallmark or Lifetime original movies as a guilty pleasure, I recommend it too. Moving on to Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. A24 release, directed by Dean Fleischer Camp. I saw Marcel the Shell with Shoes On with my mom last Saturday, and we both thought it was absolutely adorable and imaginative. This is a fictional, partial stop motion animated documentary about a mollusk named Marcel who has one googly eye and wears shoes. It's based off of a children's book and a YouTube short series of the same title. Marcel, Jenny Slate, lives in an Airbnb. Marcel's voiced by Jenny Slate. Marcel's voiced by a woman, kind of like how, remember how in the Rugrats TV series, how women would voice the babies? It's kind of like a similar thing with Marcel. And I remember a girl did the voice of Bart Simpson too. And the son on King of the Hill was voiced by a woman too. Anyway, so the director of the documentary, Dean Fleischer Camp, currently staying at the Airbnb, forms a friendship with Marcel. And the two of them, along with Marcel's grandmother, Nana Connie, voiced fantastically by none other than Isabella Rossellini, search for Marcel's lost family. Because his family's gone missing. And what's so smart about the writing is that Marcel is clearly supposed to be like a 10 to 12-year-old kid. And the way he communicates is indicative of how someone of that age range would actually think. The little stop motion set pieces here are super clever. For instance, Marcel's bed is a piece of bread. He calls it his breadroom. And they have a pet lint named Alan. The grandmother mollusk uses part of a champagne bottle cork wire as her walker. The film even pokes fun at online influencer culture a bit and shows how there's more to a person than their online presence. Because in the story, Marcel becomes an internet sensation and he's overwhelmed by the popularity. So, as a whole, Marcel the Shell shows how family does not always have to be blood. It can be the deep friendship connections we make with others. It would be a good movie to show kids of this generation as an alternative to the regular Disney stuff. Some fun trivia. I don't know how fun it is. Jenny Slate and Dean Fleischer Camp used to be married. They got divorced about 6 years ago, and this film was in production for about 7 years. So even though they're divorced, it's great that they still got to work on this dream project together. And now they're both with different people. At least she seems happily married to an artist and author named Ben Shattuck. So, moving forward, on a technical level, Marcel the Shell is an achievement not only for the clever writing, but the degree of difficulty in putting all the stop-motion set pieces together, not to mention the editing, which was done by the director himself. Marcel the Shell is eligible for Best Animated Feature at the Oscars. I would love to see it nominated. Please. give something other than Disney stuff a chance. And last but not least, probably my favorite of the three is Jordan Peele's science fiction, psychological thriller, horror, whatever it is you want to call it, Nope. The more I think about this movie, the more I like it. OJ and Emerald Haywood, played by Daniel Kaluuya and Keke Palmer. Sorry for those sirens, people. So OJ and Emerald Haywood, played by Daniel Kaluuya and Keke Palmer, are a brother-sister horse wrangling team. They like train horses for the film industry. Their great-great-great-grandfather was the Black Horse Rider in the Horse in Motion moving picture. It's a real thing, folks. Look it up. You've probably seen the picture before. But, however, OJ and Emerald are obviously not real-life descendants of that person. So it's obviously fictionalized for story purposes here. The two are in financial trouble. Their father just died. And when UFO comes into the picture, OJ and Emerald, with the help of an electronics retail guy named Angel, played by Brandon Pereira, try to capture the UFO on camera to get some money and also to preserve the Haywood family legacy. That's as specific as I will get in terms of the plot. I'll get more to that later. Everyone in the cast gives fantastic performances. Keke Palmer is pure dynamite in this movie. She gives it her all with her energy and delivery. Daniel Kaluuya works wonderfully with Jordan Peele, and I know they'll probably continue to work together. I would like to see Keke Palmer and Brandon Pereira collaborate with Peele on future projects as well. I especially hope Brandon Pereira's career rises after Nope, because he was hilarious in this movie. Stephen Yeun plays this former child star, Jupe, who was on a sitcom called Gordy's Home with a chimp. It's very funny. Yeah, he was good. I don't want to give too much away about his character, because there's some pretty interesting stuff there. My personal favorite performance here is by Michael Wincott. He's hysterical as a cinematographer trying to get the perfect shot. And speaking of cinematography, I haven't even brought up that aspect of the film. The Western landscape here is sweepingly stunning. This was shot by Dutch cinematographer Hoyt van Hoytema. He shot a couple of Christopher Nolan's films, including Tenet and Dunkirk. And Hoyt is also shooting Nolan's upcoming epic Oppenheimer. Again, it would be cool for Jordan Peele and Hoyt van Hoytema to collaborate together in the future. A lot of people have been comparing this movie to Jaws. When I first heard that it was similar to Jaws, I was like, how so? And then when I watched the movie, I said, hey, now I get it. Structurally speaking, it starts as a slow burn suspense tale, and then it unfolds as an action thrill ride towards like the latter half, second act into the third act. It's, that's something we don't see that often today in modern blockbusters. And ironically and interestingly, both Spielberg's Jaws and Jurassic Park take that approach, and they basically defined the summer blockbuster. And yet a lot of contemporary blockbusters are afraid to go down that route because, they want to make it all spectacle. And believe me, I'll get to spectacle later. Jordan Peele, Jordan Peele's, frequent musical collaborator, the composer, is Michael Abels, and his score here is actually pretty reminiscent of the music in Steven Spielberg's earlier films. And I really liked all three of his compositions for Jordan Peele's films. They make a great team. Jordan Peele is known for having social commentary in his movies. There's a lot more beyond the surface of note. It's Peele's most straightforward, yet at the same time most complex. Like, it could be enjoyed as both a spectacle and an allegory. I think those who went into this film preparing for social commentary while watching the movie were confused and left cold. Even I was a bit confused at some parts. But to me, this is a commentary on the media's hunger for spectacle and Hollywood's ways of exploitation. Whether that be exploitation of animals or people of color, or what have you, tokenism, and also the preservation of Black history in film. As I alluded to, while Nope is getting good reviews, they're not as high as Get Out or Us. Us even had some detractors because people were confused by the allegory. I think that's even more so the case here. Here's my advice. Watch the movie as a spectacle first, then it will grow on you and different meanings will start to make sense. I'm planning on doing a spoiler analysis of Nope sometime down the line because there really is a lot of imagery and symbols to unpack here. I think this movie will grow on people and be reevaluated over time in a similar way that Christopher Nolan's Interstellar did. I remember when Interstellar came out, a lot of people didn't get it, and now more people rank it amongst their favorite, if not their favorite, Christopher Nolan movies. I could see a similar trajectory for Jordan Peele's Nope. Final thoughts for me, Jordan Peele is 3 for 3. I loved all three of his films, and I can't wait to see what he has in store next. I hope you enjoyed these 3 reviews. And, yeah, it's been a pleasure, talking to you guys. I'm excited to put out more videos, in the near future. See you next time. Goodbye for now.